You ever stop and think about the visible force that's, kind of shaping your entire world? It's called artificial intelligence. And no, it's not some far-off sci-fi movie concept. It's right here, right now. It's the silent partner in our daily lives, from the smallest tasks to the biggest breakthroughs. So let's pull back the curtain on this thing.
I mean, think about it. Every morning you hit play on a playlist that just gets you. Well, that's AI. It's learned your taste. It's woven itself so deep into the fabric of our lives, it's super easy to miss. But it goes way, way beyond just our entertainment.
Think bigger, a lot bigger. The last time you were cruising at 30,000 feet, guess who was co-piloting? AI was right there, helping the actual pilots, optimizing flight paths, and making sure the insanely complex systems that keep us moving are all running safely.
And here's where its impact becomes truly, profoundly life-changing. In the moments that matter most, AI is in the operating room, it's in the lab, analyzing medical scans with a precision that can literally save lives. And no, this is not science fiction. This is our reality in 2025.
So how in the world did we get here, and where are we going next? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cover the whole journey, from a dream to today's reality. We'll break down what I call the 5 senses of machine intelligence, see how these things actually learn. Check out its impact today, face its biggest challenges, and finally, take a peek at our AI-powered future.
All right, let's start at the very beginning, because the story of AI, well, it's a wild one. It's full of incredible optimism, some really frustrating setbacks, and a recent explosion of progress that has pretty much changed everything.
It all kicked off way back in 1956 at the Dartmouth Conference. That's where the name artificial intelligence was born. But the road ahead was not smooth, not at all. The 70s and 80s brought on the AI winters, these long periods where funding just dried up because the tech just couldn't live up to all the hype. But then, the 2010s happened. It was like a perfect storm of massive datasets and crazy powerful computer chips called GPUs. That combo basically lit a fire under the whole field. And that brings us to today, 2025, where we've got unbelievably capable models like GPT-5, and a huge wave of powerful open-weight models that make this tech more accessible to everyone than ever before.
So now we know the history, but what is AI actually doing? To really get it, I think it's helpful to imagine AI as having 5 core abilities, kind of like its own set of senses that let it understand and interact with the world.
First up, and this is the big one, is learning. This is really the heart of modern AI. Picture a little kid learning to solve a puzzle. You don't tell them every single move, right? They learn by trying, failing, and starting to see the patterns. That's it. In healthcare, for example, IBM's Watson Health did exactly this to forecast flu outbreaks with 85% accuracy, just by learning from global data patterns. It literally turns raw info into insights that can save lives.
Next up is reasoning. So if learning is about taking in information, reasoning is about connecting the dots. It's like a detective piecing together clues to solve a case. It's all about logic. For instance, DeepMind's AlphaFold used reasoning to figure out the structure of over 200 million proteins. That's a mind-bogglingly huge number, and it's massively speeding up the discovery of drugs for diseases like Alzheimer's.
Then we've got perception. This is AI's ability to see and hear the world around it through data. A perfect example is Tesla's full self-driving system. It's using cameras to perceive the road, other cars, people, you name it. And get this, in some recent city trials, it hit 98% precision in spotting pedestrians in the dark. It's like giving a blindfolded driver superhuman eyesight.
But of course, all that information is totally useless if you can't organize it. And that's where knowledge representation comes in. You can think of it as AI's own mental library. Google's knowledge graph is the perfect example. It doesn't just know the word Paris. It knows Paris is a city, it's in France, and it's connected to the Eiffel Tower. This is what lets AI give you context, not just a list of keywords.
And finally, we have natural language processing, or NLP. This is the magic bridge between our human language and machine logic. It's like having a real-life universal translator. The newest models like ChatGPT-5 can handle something like 150 languages, and they get the cultural context and the subtle stuff. It's why talking to our tech feels more and more, well, natural.
Okay, so those are the whats. Now let's dig into the how. How do machines actually learn to do all this incredible stuff? It really boils down to a few core techniques that power pretty much everything we've just talked about.
So the 2 most common ways are supervised and unsupervised learning. Supervised learning is kind of like studying for a test when you have the answer key. You feed the AI a ton of labeled examples. This is a spam email, this is not, and it learns to tell the difference. Unsupervised learning, on the other hand, is like giving someone a giant box of Legos with zero instructions. The AI just dives into all this unlabeled data and finds hidden patterns all on its own. And that is exactly how Netflix figures out what movie you're going to want to watch next.
Then you've got reinforcement learning. And the idea here is super simple but incredibly powerful. It's just trial and error. It's just like training a dog, really. The AI takes an action, it gets a reward for a good result or a penalty for a bad one, and then it adjusts its strategy for next time. This is how AI got so good at complex games like Go, and it's now being used to train robots in warehouses to be more efficient.
And the thing underpinning almost all of modern AI is something called neural networks. These are complex algorithms that are actually inspired by the structure of our own brains. Think of it like a game of Whisper Down the Lane. Data gets passed through all these different layers of digital neurons, and each layer refines the message a little bit more. This layered approach is what allows AI to recognize incredibly complicated patterns, from a face in a crowd to a tiny defect on a factory line.
So what happens when you put all this together? You know, these principles, these techniques. Well, you get the amazing applications that are literally changing our world as we speak.
The impact is, it's just everywhere. In healthcare, the market for generative AI has already blown past $1 billion, helping create new drugs. In the business world, a wild 90% of companies are already playing around with AI. Governments are throwing billions at AI for cybersecurity. And in disaster response, you have systems like Raptor using AI perception to scan for threats in real time.
And the money pouring into this, it's just massive. To give you a sense of scale, just look at this number, $100 billion. That's the size of the partnership between the chipmaker NVIDIA and OpenAI, just to build the basic infrastructure to power this whole revolution. The amount of resources being invested here is, well, it's totally unprecedented.
But with all this insane progress, it's really, really important that we have a balanced view. For all of its power, AI is not perfect, not even close. And there are some pretty big challenges, some shadows in the spotlight that we absolutely need to talk about.
For starters, you've got technical problems like hallucinations, which is a nice way of saying the AI just confidently makes stuff up. Then there's the massive problem of bias. If you train an AI on biased data, you're going to get biased results. Simple as that. And honestly, just getting these projects to work is hard. Something like 95% of corporate pilot projects just fail. All of this comes at a huge cost, too, both in terms of energy consumption and in these really critical questions about our data privacy and ethics. These are not small hurdles, they're major roadblocks.
So, okay, we've acknowledged the challenges. What does the future actually hold? Where's all of this tech headed in, say, the next 5 or 10 years?
The future of AI really seems to be pointing in 3 main directions. First, it's going to be multimodal, which just means systems will be able to seamlessly understand and combine text, images, and sound all at once. Second, it's becoming more agentic, so AI systems that can take on complex, multi-step jobs all by themselves. And third, and this is maybe the most important, it's becoming more ethically focused. We're seeing a huge push for things like watermarking AI content to fight fake news and for building governance right into the technology itself.
So, from a simple idea brainstormed at Dartmouth to a global force in 2025, AI is one of humanity's biggest technological leaps. It's learning to reason, to perceive, to adapt. But the end goal here isn't just about building machines that can think. The real question we're all left with is this: how are we going to use this incredible tool to help us all think better?